Hey everybody, good Saturday morning, top of the morning to you. Eddie William Sellers coming to you from East Point, Georgia. It's cold here in Atlanta this morning, kind of gray, blustery. But anyhow, we got Thanksgiving behind us, y'all. Let's read the Morning Post this morning. It is 7:39 as I get ready to read this. The morning at 6:35 is dark. That's when I woke up, and quiet. I can hear Boom Boom snoring as he is covering a vent with his body. That must feel really good to him. He does it a lot. Gracie is just laying up on top of him as if there is not another vent in the house. My stomach is all over the place. The turkey, dressing, mac and cheese, and pies are all too much for me. My stomach's got more sensitive as I've got older. I don't really care for turkey, other than maybe on a good sandwich. 2025 is about to come to a screeching halt. But we must first allow Christmas to have its proper place and time before we just rush on. I'm hoping for snow this winter. Lying in bed and looking up through the bedroom windows as snow falls allows the little boy in me to come rushing back to take center stage. The little boy, Eddie, is never far from me in this season of life. There was a period from when I was about 15 until I was about 40 that he was kind of quietly put away, and he wasn't a part of my life. I never really thought about him, never went back and visited him. He got left back there on Savannah Street somewhere in the 1960s. Then, as I spent my first few months in an empty apartment in Buckhead on East Paces Ferry Road after my divorce, alone and starting over, trying to figure out who was I? How did my life wind up here, starting over? I spent those months going back and forth to find him. He was still back there in 1962. 7-year-old Eddie, sitting on the front steps of the little house on Savannah Street, waiting for me to show back up and come back to get him. It was the most hurtful and painful thing that I believe I have ever gone through. The idea that I had abandoned him and left him alone, back there all by himself, to figure things out. In that year when I was 39, of going home every night to an empty apartment, I somehow went back in time and found him, and in so doing became one with him again. I was him, and he was me. And until this day, that little boy, Eddie, has been safe with me ever since. What was it about poor kids that we would get so happy and excited when it would snow? Trying to walk up Pickett's Alley with snow on the ground was treacherous. Seeing kids with a big piece of something trying to slide down 10L Street among the laughter in the cold was like being in another world, another time. It really is true, y'all, that whole thing about what they say about the inner child within and all that. The most innocent that we ever were was when we were that child. We now understand more and more about trauma, the lifelong effects of it, the way it changes our brain. For a little boy to watch his mama being beaten when he tries to stand up to a grown man, that's a pretty big task for a little 7-year-old boy. But there were those mornings when it would snow. As we head into December, I will often listen to Merle sing, "If we make it through December, everything's gonna be all right, I know." It is my all-time favorite Christmas song. I can smell a pot of great northern beans cooking on the stove and the windows being all sweaty and wet from the inside of the house when I hear it. I love to hear Dolly sing also Hard Candy Christmas. I know this seems weird, but I really wouldn't go back and change any of it, even if I could. The times of just pulling up and putting $1 of gas in the car just to get me by until I could get another dollar. Yeah, those were actually things. Those were actually parts of life. But then there was those mornings of waking up and it had snowed. With a fresh coat of snow, there was no bills to be paid. There was no dysfunctions. There was no worrying about getting by. There was only snow. All of the hard times were lost in the snow. It really was magic. And people ask me why I love the snow. Good Saturday morning, sweet people. No matter what you may be going through this December, this Christmas, the pain, the sadness, the ups and downs. Some of you reading this may be at the verge of losing your house. Maybe have already lost your house. Yeah, life can be pretty shitty and tough a lot of times. We just get through it. Always remember in the great prophet, Merle Haggard, he always promised us, and it still plays all on the radio. If you make it through December, everything's going to be all right. You know that. You'll live for another Christmas. Maybe. None of us is promised. Either way, everything's going to be all right. So here comes Christmas, Hanukkah, and Kwanzaa, and the New Year. 2025 is kissing our butts goodbye pretty quick here. Love y'all.